Blog Talk Radio.
I think I need to put like an opening music or something fabulous that says, "You are here. You are on the Money and More show with Wendy Cassera, owner of Taxpectations." I can say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, 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 and welcome, always welcome, to the place where we learn about success, whatever that means to you. And that's what we're going to be talking about today: financial freedom and success, what it means to you, and what it is, and how simple it can become. How simple it is. It's not going to become that because we're going to make it. It is. Isn't that awesome? Let's see. I stated I'm the owner of Taxpectations. I do bookkeeping and accounting and all things taxes because all roads lead to taxes. So if you have any tax issues or just need your taxes prepared, I'm the girl for you. So give me a call. You can find us on my website, www.taxpectations.com, on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and all those other wonderful social media sites. Just Google it. Just Google it. Isn't it neat? I love Google it. Google it it's become a lifesaver for many people, I think, and I like to be able to research things, so it's kind of really super fun to Google it and see what comes up, because sometimes what comes up is not what you think you're looking for, so it's kind of interesting. Anyways, I digress. So let's start with our quote of the day, and today we're going to have several because of the topic, financial freedom. The first quote was from Tony Robbins. Success is doing what you want, when you want, where you want, with whom you want, and as much as you want. And I like that one as our starting one because I think that is the underlying definition of financial freedom, is it not? And there's lots of different ways that it's worded. So I'm going to give you some of those ways because I saw some other. T. Harvey Eker, my definition of financial freedom is simple. It is the ability to live the lifestyle you desire without having to work or rely on anyone else for money. Christopher Morley says there is only one success: to be able to spend your life in your own way. Robert Kiyosaki says financial freedom is a mental, emotional, and educational process, and I completely agree with him. He follows it up with saying, before you can transform your wallet from poor to rich, you've got to transform your spirit from poor to rich. He says, broke is temporary, poor is eternal. Broke can be fixed. So that's what we're going to work on today. Some good ideas. Freedom, and as I was thinking about having this as my topic, I did the same thing. I Googled it. Financial freedom. And I found a bunch of different articles and things, but what I found interesting was that there was not, one of the first things that usually pops up is like a Wikipedia definition or a dictionary definition or something like that. And I was fascinated to see that did not occur. So I went on to Wikipedia itself and I typed in financial freedom, and it sent me to a page called Financial Independence. And I said financial freedom. And it took me to financial independence. And under it, in parentheses, it says redirected from financial freedom. Now, there are, there's the battle back and forth between, isn't independence the same thing as freedom? And I am not sure if it is. And I can say yes or no either way. Financial independence, according to Wikipedia, is generally used to describe the state of having sufficient personal wealth to live without having to work actively for basic necessities. And that's what Wikipedia says. Financially independent people, their assets generate income that is greater than their expenses. Cut, dried, really simple, basic textbook definition. But I thought it was kind of really super interesting. I mean, really. If you click, there's a blue, the blue line in financial independence that says financial freedom. And if you click on it in Wikipedia, it takes you right back to this page. Doesn't like the word freedom. It likes the word independence. It's Independence Day today. I probably should have saved this for a July 4th show, because then we could be financial independence. Didn't think of that. Oh, well, today you get it. And that way you can be prepared for 4th of July. There you go. See, there's always something. Financial freedom. You know, a lot of people learn how to manage their money after they've made a lot of financial mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes can take up to decades to. The bottom line is that money can sometimes tear families apart. It ruins marriages. It keeps people from pursuing their dreams. I talk about all the time, and I'm looking for just the right words to describe it. But the fact that money is the financial roadblock that people use to stop pursuing their dreams, to not pursue their dreams. And I'm on a mission, one person at a time, to knock those roadblocks down and show you that it really can be simple and easy, and you really can be financially free. You know, money troubles create unnecessary stress, anxiety, and arguments in our day, and can sometimes lead to perpetual discontent. People claim and talk about all the time about not having enough, living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to get ahead. But it really doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be that way. There are ways to do it. You know, I've talked about on the show before, success itself. Success is whatever it means to you. And you know, if you listen to all of these definitions, it shows you that that's all it is. To be able to spend your life your own way. For some people, that's big mansions, lots of cars in the driveway, a jet plane to fly off to London for lunch, whatever. For some people, that is a very simple, basic cabin in the woods with a fireplace where you're out chopping wood and you just get to live a simple life of reading books in the afternoon and enjoying yourself, taking up a hobby and just enjoying the peace and quiet. Success is whatever it is to you. And financial freedom is whatever it is to you. Financial people with 6 figures and 7 figures and 8-figure income are still not financially free. They're still struggling the same as others who are lucky to get $10,000 or $12,000 in a year. The financial freedom, the financial strain can come at any level. It's a matter of how we live it and the choices we make. One of the articles that I was looking at was talking about a couple who got together, decided that they were going to be financially free. And through their process, they discovered how to get out of debt, how to eliminate unnecessary expenses, plan for their future, and master their finances. And I think that that is a really great way to put it, because taking control of your financial life involves so much more than just increasing your income. It also involves making good decisions with the resources you have, changing your financial habits, and how many times have we heard this? Einstein, the theory of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. If you live the same lifestyle and you have the same habits, no matter how much money you make, you're going to fall into the same traps, and you're still going to have the financial struggles. So you need to change your financial habits and start living deliberately. Because believe it or not, even in this world of instant gratification, a lot of this stuff may not be easy, but it can be simple. There's a difference, right? It can be, again, let's say it can be simple. So what are some of the things that you could do to become financially free? Let's go over a few of those steps, and perhaps I can help you on your way to financial freedom. That is, after all, the goal. So let's start with budgeting. We've talked about, I've had several shows. You can go back and listen to my shows on budgeting to get some more detailed information about budgeting. But let's talk a little bit about budgeting. The most important thing about budgeting is to establish a written monthly budget. Very important that it be written. It's not written down. It's not a budget. You need to determine all your expenses into categories: need, want, and like. What do you need? What do you want? What would you like to have? So that you can create it. And also creating the boundaries. So the budget says this is how much money at the beginning of the month that we have this month. You need to make sure that you divide all of your expenses into those categories as need, want, and likes. You got to put the food and the clothing and the entertainment and the pets and the internet and the house payment and all of that stuff. All of that together has to go in. And then, you know what? I talk about it being fun, right? I talk about it being fun. And one of the reasons I talk about it being fun is because it should. The more fun it is, the more that you're going to do it. And I think one of the most important things about this budgeting process being fun, is that you involve your household. Make it teamwork. Sit down. Make sure the husband, wife, kids, everybody in the house is involved. They all have things they want to spend money on. So put all of those things into the need, what, and like category. And get everybody's help. If you're all working together, it's going to make it so much easier. Okay? If everyone is committed to financial freedom, it'll make it so much easier. And, as far as budgeting is concerned, budgeting is done to reach your goals. And financial freedom, when you're sitting down and you're attempting to explain to your kids, we're going to get financially free, and they go, then you got to figure out a way to make it fun for them as well. Financially free means we can go to Disneyland next year for 10 days, and you can bring a friend and have a lot of fun. Financially free means you can now start taking those dance classes. Once we've budgeted everything and we've gotten our money under control, we'll have extra money for these extra things. Those are the kind of things that you can use to explain what financial freedom is and get your children on board with you to help work with you on your budgeting process. And understand that you're not perfect. Neither are your children, and neither is anything else. Life happens. So make sure that when you're going through your budgeting and you're planning, that you make adjustments along the way. You have slip-ups. Things happen. The first month is obviously going to be the most difficult, but by the third or fourth month, you're going to really understand how much money you've been wasting in your life before you got it down to a budget. And before we get off I don't think we're going to get off the budgeting, because a lot of this has to do with that. And make sure you create a safety net savings account and include that in your budget. Very, very important. I would say a good number is like $500 to $1,000, and that should be a safety savings account, that net safety savings account, because that's what's going to happen when the truck needs new brakes and the brakes go out suddenly and you hadn't planned for it ahead of time, or something happens and you need an emergency fund. That's what that's for, and that way it doesn't throw your whole budget off. And in the way of the safety, creating this safety and creating this savings account, it is very, very, very important that you pay yourself. Make sure that you get paid. Invest in yourself. I liked something that someone had said to me one time. We were talking about budgeting and finances. It was at a networking meeting, I think, and the lady was from one of those Edward Jones or one of those other financial places. And she said, you have to think about it as paying your future self. So investing money in yourself, you're paying your future self so that you can start living that life and doing all those things that you desire to do. Creating this separate account, this safety net savings account is really important, and it's really important to put it into a separate account. That way it's less tempting to spend on things. Just a little FYI, big tip. And the next thing that's really important is understanding that planning for your future, that planning for whatever it is, savings for a home, trip to Disneyland, you want to start a new business, whatever it is, now is the best time to start planning for your future. Now. If it has to be $20 a month, if it has to be 1% of your income, whatever it is, make sure that you pay yourself and put it into that safety net savings account so that you have that future. Now, the next thing that I'm going to talk about as far as financial freedom is concerned is debt. You know, you go to some of these big talks and they sit up there and they go, oh, you know, there's such a thing as good debt. You know, I just kind of go, I don't think so. I don't think there is such a good thing, such a thing as good debt. The truth is, I don't think that you can truly feel financially free if you have debt. I mean, doesn't that kind of sound like oxymoronic? Is that a good word? Oxymoronic. Can you really be free if you have financially free if you have debt? As long as you have debt, you are a slave to the lender. Person who gave you the debt, you owe them. So you're not free in that respect. And there are a lot of good ways to calculate and figure out how to get debt free when you're doing this. I mean, we've got the budgeting, and that's the best start, and that's the best thing you can do for yourself. But there are a lot of ways to sit down and create this detailed plan so that you can cut up your credit cards, get rid of the student loan debt, pay off the house, get rid of the car. And, you know, a lot of that includes minimizing, okay? Now, realize that I said minimizing. I didn't say deprivation, okay? Minimizing is the thing by which we help clear the clutter from our lives. We're focusing on eliminating debt, so we need to learn to simplify our lives, okay? And there's a lot of different ways that you can do that, but minimizing, clearing the clutter, focusing on eliminating debt is part of changing the habits and making better decisions with fewer resources. So here you go. You have some debt. You need to pay it off. So what are some of the things that you can do? You can get rid of some of the junk in your house. How much junk do you have that you just dust that you don't really like? Now, I'm not saying get rid of all your stuff. Everything you own should serve a purpose or bring you joy. And if it doesn't, that's extra stuff. Get rid of it. eBay, Amazon, yard sales, Craigslist. Get some money for it. Go to the flea market. Set up a booth. Get some money for it and help pay off your debt. Look at your garage. What all the stuff that's in your garage or your attic or in a storage room, stuff you haven't touched in ever so long, get rid of it. You're not working to attempt to deprive yourself of anything, okay? Don't get rid of the things that serve a purpose or bring you joy. Just get rid of all the other stuff. Now, what about your bills? How many bills do you have that you don't really need? All those expenses you don't really need. I got rid of my cable subscription. There's nothing I can't find to watch on the internet. Why do I need to spend $150 on cable and HBO and Showtime and all those other things? Not to mention the fact I'm running a business. I don't really have time to sit and watch TV for hours and hours on end. And I'm not really super overly excited about all the advertisements and them telling you what you should buy, you should buy, you should buy, you should buy. Let's get rid of the should buy and save yourself a little money. There are probably a lot of superfluous bills that add up to a lot of money. Subscriptions that you belong to online. Your business can belong to them. You can belong to them personally. They're only $3.99 or $4.99 a month, and they're things that you're going to get to because you really want to at some point. You'll get to them. Get rid of all of them. One of the reasons a business coach will tell you to get something that is a subscription service and sell it to people is because it takes up to 24 to 28 months for somebody to actually get rid of a subscription they don't really want. So you've made money for all that time. And, you know, while that's a good way for you to make some extra money, it's also a way on the other hand, on the other end of the spectrum, for you to be spending money you don't need to spend. So go through your emails, get rid of some of those subscriptions to things you don't really need. You know, and we're a happy show, right? You know, I like to play the happy song, and we're talking about attempting to make fun of things and make it really simple. And I'll tell you that I think that the shortest path to financial freedom is appreciating what you already have, okay? Instead of having to keep up with the Joneses or want more, let's appreciate what you have. We talked just a few minutes ago about things serving a purpose or bringing us joy. But when was the last time you went, took your family to a local soup kitchen or a homeless shelter and helped out there? Helped out the elderly with groceries or in-home care, or helped work on one of the low-income houses for Habitat for Humanity. You go and help contribute to society, contribute to your community. You also discover the smallness of your financial woes, okay? You discover how few financial woes you actually have. By discovering this, you will feel empowered to make massive action and get rid of those miniature problems. Look at how much better you have it than so many other people in the world. So take some action. That's what it's all about. In a short period of time, you can change your entire life from what it is today and have that financial freedom. It may not always be easy. We know that it's not always easy. But anybody, anywhere on the socioeconomic ladder achieve this. So whether you're single or you have a half a dozen kids and a husband or a wife, a big house, or you live in an apartment, whatever it is, there are ways that you can cut down, minimalize, and become financially free. The first thing, I talked about writing down a budget. The budget being written is also a part of writing down your goals. That's why the needs, wants, and likes are in there. Write down your goals. Write down where you want to go and what you want to do, because it's easier to get there if you know where you're going. You don't ever, I wrote a big blog about a map. You don't ever decide to go on vacation. You load your wife and your kids in the car and you fill it with your suitcases, and you put some food in there and some toys, and you just start down the road. Well, I think there are people that do that occasionally, but the truth of the matter is if you don't know where you're going, you won't get there. So part of that budgeting, part of that is determining what your goal is and making sure that you have your eye on the goal, minimalizing, doing all those things. The couple that wrote their article, they went from a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house with a 2-car garage and a very high mortgage payment. They actually sold their house and moved into an apartment in an area that they thought was absolutely beautiful. And they made the decision to do this for 2 years, so that they cut their mortgage payment in half by having a rental and no property tax and all those other things. That was part of their minimalizing their life, so that they could get out of debt, pay off their debt, and then make the decision where they wanted to go and what they wanted to do and where that financial freedom was going to be in their life. So the important part is to take action. Start it today. Tomorrow never comes. Yesterday's a mystery. Yesterday is already gone. Yesterday's history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That is why today is the present. Kung Fu Panda. The wise words of Kung Fu Panda. So get started. Take action today. You got some planning and some hard work ahead of you, but it is very important that you be diligent and keep your perspective. Okay? Don't, cultivate a little patience. Don't rush forward into it and think it's all going to happen tomorrow, because it's not. It took you a while to get here. It'll take you a shorter time to get back out. That's the plan. By practicing some of these tools, you too can be financially free, and that will make you happy.
It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. And for So many of us, happiness can be financial freedom so that we can live in the success that we were meant to live in. So do something today that your future self will thank you for. Work on your financial freedom, work on your goals, sit down and do that written budget and decide to change your financial habits, make good decisions with the resources you have, and live deliberately. Live happy, because that's the way, I like it, Oh, that's another song, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope you have good success. Get a journal. I love this. I'm looking over to my right, and I have one of my journals. And one of the things I am very diligent about doing is writing things in my journal, and I'm getting better and better about it every day. But making sure that your goals are in your journal and the changes and the ideas and different things. Keep a journal with you all the time. Write it down. Write it down and make it so. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, weekend, month, year, and I hope you found at least one way to make that one step closer to your financial freedom. And I will talk to you again next week. Next week on June 29th, an important day in history. You'll find out why later. Have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.